When her son kicked her out for losing her job, he thought she had nothing. But what he didn't know was that she was hiding a secret fortune. Maggie didn't cry, not when the door slammed shut behind her, not even when the silence hit her like a slap. She didn't shout, she didn't beg, she just stood there, quiet, hands trembling around the handle of her old suitcase. Her son Caleb stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Behind him, his wife Selena just stared, didn't say a word, but her eyes said it all. Finally, the old woman is gone. This house once held warmth. It echoed with laughter, smelled of fresh bread. Now it felt cold, lifeless, like she never belonged there in the first place. Earlier that day, Caleb had snapped. "You should have told us, Ma. You've been eating our food, doing nothing." Maggie had replied softly, "I wasn't feeling well. I didn't want to worry you." But Selena, she cut in, sharp and cold. "Not feeling well? Or just not working? We're struggling, Caleb. We can't take care of your mama, too." And that was it. Caleb didn't defend her, didn't remember the woman who raised him alone after his father died, the woman who worked nights scrubbing motel floors, who skipped meals just so he could buy school books. He looked away and said, "You'll have to find your own way now. We've got our own kids to raise." No hug, no thank you. Just the sound of suitcase wheels dragging over cracked pavement. Maggie walked away. Didn't even look back. Even when she reached the old bus bench 3 blocks down, her back aching, her heart heavier than her bag, she still didn't cry. She was 72 years old. But here's what Caleb didn't know. Maggie hadn't been fired. She'd quietly quit her part-time job at the church after the doctor warned her about lifting heavy boxes. The church begged her to stay, but she walked away, quietly. She had always lived with less, but what she never expected was that losing a job would mean losing her family too. Years ago, Maggie had bought that house with her own hands and then signed it over to Caleb when he promised to take care of her forever. But forever ended fast. Still, Maggie didn't feel hate because she had a secret, a big one. After her husband died in a work accident, the insurance money wasn't much, but inside those documents was something unexpected. A land deed to a forgotten patch of countryside. No roads, no water, worthless, or so they said. Everyone told her to sell it. She didn't. Every single year, even when she had nothing, she paid the taxes, and she held on to that land, just in case. Then last fall, a young man in a suit came knocking. He said a solar energy company wanted to buy the land. The offer? It made Maggie sit down. She agreed to the deal, but kept it private. The money, $1.4 million, was placed in a trust under her late husband's name. Only Maggie had access. To the world, she was still Mama Maggie, still wearing her little apron, still carrying her old purse, but inside that purse now, a checkbook and a card tied to a hidden fortune. That night, Maggie stayed in a women's shelter, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She wanted to sit beside the forgotten, to listen, to give, to smile when others couldn't. The next day, she walked to the edge of town and found a broken-down cottage, cracked walls, leaky roof, weeds everywhere. She bought it, in cash. 3 weeks later, that cottage looked brand new. She registered it under a quiet name, Grace Holdings, LLC. No one knew it was hers. She didn't need them to. Maggie didn't want revenge. She wanted peace, and she had a dream to build a place where no one ever gets thrown away. 2 years passed, and Caleb's life had fallen apart. The house, the one his mother bought, was taken by the bank. His online gigs failed. Warehouse jobs came and went. Selena? She left. Took the boys. He was alone, sleeping in a friend's cold basement. One day, at the library, he saw a flyer. Maggie's table, hot meals, shelter, support for struggling families. He stared at the name. Maggie. No, couldn't be. But something stirred in his chest. Guilt. and a flicker of hope. The next morning, Caleb walked across town. The building was small, but beautiful. Fresh paint, sunflowers by the door, a carved wooden sign above the entrance. Inside, it smelled like fresh soup. Children laughed. Volunteers worked with care. And behind the front desk sat a woman in a beige sweater, her gray hair pulled back, her eyes gentle. "Mama," Caleb whispered. She looked up, surprised, but not afraid. She stood up and came around the desk and said he looked down and said, "Caleb, lost the house. Selena's gone. I have nothing. I didn't know where else to go."
She didn't speak right away.
She let the silence settle. Then softly, she said, "Come in. You look cold." They sat at a small table, warm mugs in their hands. Caleb looked around and asked, "This place, it's yours?" She nodded. "I thought you had nothing when you left," he whispered. "I had peace," she said, with a gentle smile. He held his mug tighter. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say you had money?" She looked him in the eyes. "Would it have changed how you treated me?" He had no answer. "I wanted to see who would stay when I had nothing," she said. "That's how I knew who I should build for. I didn't want riches. I just wanted to help." His eyes filled with tears. "I was so cruel to you," he said. "You trusted me, and I threw you out." Maggie reached across the table and held his hand. "You forgot who you are," she said. "But that doesn't mean you can't find your way back." That spring, Caleb started helping at Maggie's table. He repaired broken chairs, cooked meals, unloaded supplies. But more than anything, he rebuilt the bond he once broke. Every Friday, they sat on the porch, watching the children play. Then one day, Maggie handed him an envelope. Inside was the voided deed to the house and a copy of the $1.4 million check, both framed. "You don't owe me anything," she said, "but now you understand what happens when love comes before pride." Caleb looked at her, and for the first time he saw her, not just as a mother, but as a strong black woman who turned silence into strength and pain into purpose. Years later, Maggie passed away in her sleep, peacefully. At her funeral, there were no limos, no gold, just people, from shelters, churches, soup kitchens, all gathered to honor the woman who gave them hope. Caleb stood at the front, holding her old apron. "My mother left with a suitcase and a quiet heart," he said. "But from that silence, she built something beautiful. She didn't just feed people, she forgave them." And behind him, above the door, hung a wooden sign Maggie had carved herself. "The doors that close behind you can never beat the ones you open for others." And the son who once turned her away had finally become the man she always believed he could be. If this story touched your heart, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories. Would you have told your son about the fortune? Let us know in the comments. We read every word. Stay kind, stay strong, and remember, kindness always finds a way.